What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose, another dose, a special dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. You know the vibes, you know the energy, you know where my body be. I appreciate y'all for locking in on the content. It means a lot to me, goes a long way. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the content. You guys know what your job is. Very easy. Very simple to understand. Smash that like button, get comfortable, get your beverages, get your snacks, get your doja, you know what I mean? If you're drinking a early afternoon cocktail, do whatever you got to do for yourself to make sure you're comfortable. You dig me? But most importantly, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That is Chalk It Up Sports with your boy. Now, we got some things to get into. I got some things that I want to talk to you guys about, in particular when it comes to the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense. Now, for me at least, I'm not panicking when it comes to the Eagles defense. I know a lot of people have their fair share of concerns as it pertains to the Eagles defense. Right? A lot of people think about the whole fact that the Eagles lost a lot of players on that side of the ball, right? A lot of people think about that. And I understand it. Trust me, I understand it. But there are times where you have to, quite frankly, think about what you do have, what they still do have in the building. And what they still do have in the building as far as player personnel, a lot of teams can't fuck with that. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of teams can't match up with some of the guys we got on the defensive side of the ball. Let's just call it what it is. We've seen various players on the Eagles defense take over games. We've seen various players on that side of the ball completely shift the momentum, take the football away, save games, keep playoff hopes alive. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we've seen so many different scenarios that validates how good this defense is. And so many scenarios that validates how good the particular players I'm about to mention, how good they are, right? Obviously, the Eagles lost Josh Sweat in free agency. Josh Sweat, he ended up signing a 4-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals, $76.4 million, $41 million guaranteed. Milton Williams signed over with the Patriots, 4 years, $104 million, $63 million guaranteed. And obviously, you lose Darius Slay to the Steelers on a 1-year deal, $10 million fully guaranteed, and you lose Isaiah Rodgers to the Minnesota Vikings, 2-year deal, $15 million contract, $8 million fully guaranteed. And the Eagles did move on from C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the heart and soul of that Eagles defense. They gambled on that. They decided to trade him to the Texans. So the Philadelphia Eagles did lose their fair share of contributors on the defense side of the ball. I totally understand that, right? But I want to start this conversation off by discussing arguably one of the most vital, one of the most important guys on the defense that people really need to sit back and really think about. And that's Zack Baun. Remember, the Eagles made sure they re-signed him, the one guy that we talked about as a non-negotiable. We said it's not negotiable. If anybody needs to come back on this roster, Zack Baun has to be that guy. It's non-negotiable. No ifs, ands, or buts. We finally got a linebacker that can play the position. Finally got a linebacker that can impact the game in enough ways where his value is paramount, his value is insurmountable. Yeah, you got to pay that, bro. And Howie Roseman did the right thing. He did the right thing. Zack Baun, 3 years, $51 million, $34 million guaranteed, average salary of $17 million. He's being paid like a top 5 linebacker in the NFL, right? But money aside, I want to revisit, and we're going to get into a bunch of players on the defensive side of the ball that will continue to make impacts and who will continue to take steps further into their careers and who will continue to develop. And we still haven't seen their best football yet. Just want to make that very clear. I just want to start with Zack Baun because he's the guy that got the money. He's the most recent signing. He was the big name that the Eagles were able to bring back on defense, and he's arguably one of the big names on that defensive side of the ball. But Zack Baun, I want to revisit some things he did this past season to kind of remind us that the Eagles are in better shape than people realize. But before I do that, I want to get to some of your comments real quick. Let's do a temperature check. KGK, what's good, my brother? Hope all is well. Fan of the Eagles fan, what's going on, girl? S. Blunt, big dog, how you feeling? Alex is in the building. You heard? Function is in the building. My man, Fresh and Clean with the $1.99 super chat. He says, Tone, I don't see the join option for the membership. So I'm looking at it right now. It should be next to the subscribe button under the stream. It should be right there where it says Chalk It Up Sports. It should say join, and it should say subscribed. If you are subscribed, of course, it should definitely be there. I'm not sure what's going on. Worst case scenario, just go to the actual channel, and you'll be able to see the join button on the channel's page. You should be able to see that. If you don't see it, then I'm not really sure what's going on your end. But regardless, though, it's definitely there because I have more than one YouTube channel, and I'm looking at it from a different YouTube channel. It says join. So again, I'm not sure what's going on your end if you can't see it, but regardless, though, it's definitely there under the stream. Try refreshing the page or something like that. But shout out to Fresh and Clean with the super chat, man. I really do appreciate it. Who else in the building? Carlos Rosado, my guy. Melvin Gilmore, what's good? Phil Skip, welcome to the show, my guy. 63 Mortis, Mark Kelly Green. What's good? So, again, I want to get into the impact Zack Baun made in 2024 and in the playoffs to kind of recalibrate everyone's perspective and remind you that this defense is in way better shape than you think it is. You know, Howie Roseman, his offseason hasn't really been blockbuster, but I think what he's done is he's hit a bunch of singles. And you guys know I like to make my baseball analogies when it comes to football. Howie Roseman is always swinging in free agency, right? We all know that. He's always swinging. Zack Baun was a single. But because of how the season went and how Zack Baun performed, Howie Roseman was able to make his way to second base, third base, and home plate for a score. You feel what I'm saying? Mekhi Becton, that was a single. Made it to first base. But because of how Mekhi Becton played throughout the season and what it amounted to and how productive he was and how his transition to guard was spectacular, Howie made it to second base, third base, made it around the home. So Zack Baun and Mekhi Becton, they were scorers. You was able to put points on the board with those guys, right? Now Howie Roseman is continuing to hit singles right now. That's just the way his bat is working right now. That's the way it's working right now. He hitting singles. You know, I don't think Howie has hit any doubles yet. I don't think he's hit any triples. I don't think he's hit a home run just yet. But he's on base with these guys. He's on base. Uche, Josh Uche, right? Azeez Ojulari, AJ Dillon, Adoree Jackson, the two tight ends, Harrison Bryant, and I forget the other guy's name. The guy that got from the Colts. You know what I mean? He's hit singles. The question is, will those players be able to make it home? Will Howie be able to make it to home base with those guys? We're going to find that out. But Zack Baun is somebody that he's been able to prove it with. He's been able to prove it with. You feel what I'm saying? So just to revisit Zack Baun's season, played in every game. The only game he didn't play in was week 18 against the Giants, where the game didn't matter. We sat a lot of players. But Zack Baun played in every game that he was available for. 16 games played in the regular season. Played every single game, all 4 games in the playoffs. But just talking about his regular season stats, 151 total tackles, 93 solo, 3.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. And you guys know how I look at TFLs. I put TFLs in the same category. I put TFLs in the same category as sacks. Again, Zack Baun, 151 total tackles, 93 solo, 3.5 sacks, 11 TFLs, tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, 1 interception, 5 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery. Let's think about that. Let's do some quick mental math real quick, okay? Let's do some quick mental math. I think we all can agree a pass deflection is a negative play for the a pass deflection is a negative play for the offense. An interception thrown is a negative play for the offense. A forced fumble is a negative play for the offense. TFLs, sacks, those are all negative plays for the offense, right? So let's just see how many negative plays Zack Baun created for the Eagles defense. Let's see how many negative plays he forced on the opposing offense. Let's do some quick math. So 3.5 sacks plus 11 TFLs plus 4 pass deflections plus 1 interception plus 5 forced fumbles. 24.5. Zack Baun generated 24.5 negative plays against opposing offenses. Negative plays. Think about that. He generated 24.5 negative plays alone on that defense. I don't think the Eagles have had a linebacker in a long time that's been able to do something like that. Who's been able to affect the game in many ways. And I'm not even talking about the plays where he's maybe tackled the guy at the line of scrimmage. Maybe it wasn't registered as a TFL. Maybe he tackled the guy for only a 1-yard or a 2-yard gain on a crucial 3rd or 4th down, right? I can't even really extrapolate those numbers because those are tied into the solo tackles. I mean, again, the brother he almost had 100 solo tackles, meaning he was on an island and he had to make the play. And he made most of those plays in front of him. He wasn't doing too much chasing. Zack Baun showed his value, and it directly correlates with what he was able to do in New Orleans. just on a smaller, in the micro sense, so to speak. So I look at Zack Baun as somebody on this team that's going to continue to do that because what he's done is sustainable. How he's played the game is sustainable. He's always in the right place at the right time. Athleticism is through the roof, running sideline to sideline. Football IQ and football instincts on a million. Not many. It's hard to find a linebacker that can not only cover, but also play the run effectively and knows how to slice and dice at the line of scrimmage. And can also make people better around him. That's the thing. People play better next to Zack Baun. Nakobe Dean had a hell of a season. Nakobe Dean did his job, but also I think he also was a beneficiary of playing next to Zack Baun. I'm not trying to take nothing away from Nakobe. You saw the plays Nakobe was making, even on the island. We saw it. Nakobe had over 100. Nakobe had 128 tackles, 80 solo. Nakobe did his thing as well. Let's not get that twisted. But I think they really bounced off each other. They balanced each other's skill sets so well. So well. And Zack Baun was an Iron Man, didn't miss a snap. The dude was phenomenal all year long. All year long. Generating 24 and a half negative plays. That's a big deal. Let me get to these super chats, you guys. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. I appreciate the donations. Fresh and clean back again. He says, keep the core on defense. The rest plug and play. I'm with you on that. That's how you sustain the defense. You can't pay everybody. And most of the time, some of these teams get emotionally attached to certain players and they end up paying the wrong guys, not really realizing where the real value is or where their core is, right? A lot of these defenses, they're trying to figure out who their core guys are. And it's hard to figure that out when you're constantly trying to find guys at free agency. When you draft guys and develop guys, it's easier to figure out that core. It's easier to make sense of it. And financially, it's more feasible. Alex with the $4.99 super chat. He says, underrated player we lost was Fred Johnson, in my opinion. He was solid as our backup swing tackle, filling in for both Lane and Jordan Mailata last year. Alex, that's a great point by you. Fred Johnson, that's an underrated loss. Fred Johnson was definitely the swing tackle for Lane Johnson and for Jordan Mailata. He filled that role nicely. And Fred Johnson, listen, no one would sit here and try to say Fred Johnson is probably a starting level tackle. I don't think we can confuse him for that. But he's serviceable enough to be a swing guy. And every organization, every team needs to have their swing guards, their swing tackles, right? Every team needs to have those 3 offensive linemen outside of your starters who can play multiple positions across that line. So Fred Johnson was a guy that did that for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was beloved in the locker room. He was a fun-loving guy. He had plenty of relationships in the building. He talked about how Jeff Stoutland was one of the people that believed in him and never gave up on him whenever he gave up on himself. So Fred Johnson will definitely be missed on this team. The Philadelphia Eagles do have their hands full in terms of figuring out what their depth or who they trust depth-wise on that offensive line. I think Tyler Steen is somebody that may be elevated to that starting right guard spot. But will Quinyon Green be able to take that next step in his career? The guy they traded for from the Houston Texans. Will Trevor Keegan be able to take that next step, right? Will Darian Kennard be able to take that next step, right? Going on and on. Will Laken Vakalahi be able to take that next step, right? They have guys that they like, but best believe the Philadelphia Eagles will draft at least 2 offensive linemen in this draft class. That goes without saying. They will draft 2 offensive linemen like they always do. Thank you for the super chat, Alex. I really do appreciate it. All right. So, yeah, we've talked about Zack Baun and his impact on this team, right? And again, I'm going to focus on the core guys right now. I'm going to focus on the defensive guys, in my opinion, who are extremely crucial to this team's success, right? The big names, the guys that are, how do you say, elite at their positions. S. Blunt says, Tone, would you pay Jordan Davis? And if so, what player would you comp him to financially? It's a good question. I think Jordan Davis has a thankless job. I think what he does is a bit esoteric. And what I mean is, it's not something that many people would really appreciate or understand. If you're not really in tune with the position, as blunt, I know you understand what his job is, right? But a lot of people don't really understand Jordan Davis's role the way you and I do, right? And Jordan Davis, his job isn't really to get sacks right now. Granted, he has the athleticism. He has the athleticism that we all love at the position. I think he took a step forward as a pass rusher this season. I think he did. And I think his ceiling is still a little bit unclear because we know he can stop the run. We know he's gotten his conditioning intact. We know he's somebody you could trust on first and second down, but can he become a 3-down player? I'm still unsure about it, but because of his athletic traits and how quickly he's able to move with that size, if he can really be a consistent pass rusher, if he can give you, if Jordan Davis is capable of giving you 3 to 5 sacks a season, if that's possible for him, that would be an insane leap for him. And right now, he's still considered to be a first and second down player. So, and also at his position, there aren't many nose tackles in the league anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're there, but a lot of them don't have the unique traits like a Jordan Mailata, the athletic traits. So I'm not really sure how I would comp him to financially. I would pay him though. I would definitely keep him on his roster because I think he's like the linchpin on that defensive line. Jalen Carter is obviously your best on your defensive line. Excuse me. Obviously, Jalen Carter is your best defensive lineman, but Jordan Davis, he's like again, his role is esoteric. It's a bit unique. It's a bit arbitrary. It's not the easiest to understand if you don't know the game. And Jordan Davis is somebody that when he's doing his job, everyone else's job is significantly easier. I'm not really sure who I would compare him to financially. I'm not really sure about that, if I'm being honest with you. I would have to do my due diligence and dig in the crate and figure out who I can compare him to financially. But I would find a way to keep him on the roster. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason they didn't bring back Milton Williams, the reason they didn't bring back Jalen Carter or pay anybody else really that left. I think they feel like they have to make sure they keep that defensive line intact as much as possible. And they want to try to keep those Georgia boys together as much as possible. But we'll see. We'll honestly see. Now, I'm not saying he'll finish his career in Philadelphia. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. But the Eagles have proven to be able to win a Super Bowl with this Georgia formula. So you've validated it. You validated it. You were able to validate drafting Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, Keely Ringo, all those Georgia guys. You were able to validate those decisions. More so in particular, the front seven guys, right? Nolan, Carter, Davis, Nakobe. You were able to validate that by winning a Super Bowl. And they all were contributors into getting there and winning it. So I don't think Jordan Davis in the long term finishes his career in Philadelphia. I don't think so. But again, it's hard to see that. It's speculation. It's a projection. I don't really know. Who knows? What if he's somebody the Philadelphia Eagles look at as he's going to be, with the cap going up, with what he does, he's going to always be affordable? What if they see him that way? What if they see him as a guy that with the cap going up and what he does, and if he stays doing what he does, he's going to always be affordable? First and second down player. He hasn't proven to be a 3-down player yet. He may be affordable for them. You never know. But anyway, getting back on task. Another player on this defense that makes me confident and why I don't worry about a damn thing. Why I don't worry about a thing. Give me 1 second, you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to set something up. So, yeah, let's get to the next player who I believe is crucial to this defense's success and why I don't worry about this defense, why I'm not concerned, why I'm not going to overreact to the players they lost. We've already mentioned him a little bit. Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is a player who will end up being the highest paid defensive tackle in football. Now, we don't know how long it'll last, but we know it's going to happen. Jalen Carter is going to be somebody that the Eagles pay. Once again, this is why they cleared the runway. This is why Milton did get money from the Eagles. This is why Josh Sweat walked. This is why CJ walked. This is why Slay and Isaiah Rodgers and Oren Burks. This is why Howie Roseman decided to move on from these players, because he's trying to clear the runway for a guy like Jalen Carter, because he knows he's going to have to pay him top dollar. It's no mystery how valuable Jalen Carter is to this defense. You can make an argument. Jalen Carter is your most valuable asset. He's your most valuable commodity on that side of the ball. When you factor in the talent, how his ceiling is still rising, the athleticism, the dominance, the ferociousness, the age, the pedigree, the speed, the rate at which he develops, right? Jalen, the position he plays, being in the trenches. Jalen Carter is going to be a very wealthy man. Jalen Carter is your most valuable asset on defense. And I want to revisit what Jalen Carter did in 2024. On top of that, thank you, J. Pope, playing every damn snap. The brother plays almost every damn snap. Like, really. Every freaking snap. The brother's out there. That's not easy to do at that position. Not many defensive linemen are capable of doing that, right? I think Aaron Donald was a guy. Aaron Donald was a guy who was playing significant snaps in his career. I mean, there was points in Aaron Donald's career he's playing 82% of the snaps, 90% of the snaps, 84%, 85%, 90%, 89%, 81%. Like there's 76% of the snaps. Like Jalen Carter has a chance to enter that territory. He has a chance to enter that territory. Now, what made Aaron Donald even more special is because Aaron Donald was having like double-digit sack seasons at the D tackle spot like it was nothing. I mean, and he was able to play up and down that defensive line. He was able to play D end, interior. I mean, all pro, first team all pro every year, damn near of his career, Pro Bowler every single freaking year. Like, the dude is a first ballot Hall of Famer, 10-time Pro Bowl, 8-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame All-2010s team, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, Aaron Donald was something special. So when you look at Jalen Carter, who plays the game as violently as Aaron Donald did, Jalen Carter, Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, second team All-Pro. You know what I mean? I don't care what nobody says. I put second team All-Pro up there with first team All-Pro. I still don't understand why people don't show it the respect you deserve. I really don't get it, but I'm going to do it because that means you were top 2 at your position all year long. And most of the time, the first and second team All-Pro is 2 players from different conferences for the most part. So the way I see it, Jalen Carter was the best D tackle, the most dominant D tackle in the NFC. That's how I see it. That's exactly how I see it. So and they give all pro. They give all pro to a bunch of guys, but for Jalen Carter to be second team all pro, come on, man. Come on, man. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal, man. You gotta get him his flowers. Above all else, you gotta give him his flowers. Just how dominant he's been on one of the most dominant defenses in football. But Jalen Carter, he played 831 snaps in 2024. That's 84% of the defensive snaps. Dude is insane. So again, why would I be nervous about where this defense is going? Again, you still got Vic Fangio in the building. Why would I be nervous about this defense? I still got Zack Baun. I still got Jalen Carter, who in 2024 played well over 80% of the snaps. Jalen Carter was able to give you 42 total tackles, 25 solo, 4.5 sacks, 12 TFLs, 6 pass deflections at the line of scrimmage. That's another thing he doesn't get enough credit for. He gets a lot of pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles. Jalen Carter, let's do some quick math on him as far as negative plays generated. Jalen Carter was able to generate, let's do the math on this, 4.5 sacks plus 12 TFLs plus 6 pass deflections plus 2 forced fumbles. 24.5 negative plays. So N'Kobe, so let's break this down. Zack Baun and Jalen Carter both generated 24.5 negative plays against the opposing offense. 24.5 negative plays. That's not coincidence. And also, I didn't even get into the playoff numbers with Zack Baun and Jalen Carter yet. I didn't even get into the playoff numbers. Let me make sure I do these guys justice. I didn't get to the playoff numbers. Zack Baun in the playoffs played all 4 games, 2 interceptions, 3 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble. Come on, man. 2 TFLs. Dog. That's 2, 5, 6. He had 2 fumble recoveries too. 2, 5, 6, 8. 8 negative plays generated in the playoffs. Like, come on now. Come on now. And then Jalen Carter. His numbers in the playoffs. 3 played all 4 games, 3 pass deflections, a forced fumble, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. Come on, man. Like, I can't sit here and and act nervous about this defense. I can't. Why should I? Knowing I got Zack Baun and knowing I got Jalen Carter on his defense. I can't act scary. 2 Pro Bowlers, 2 All-Pros still on your defense that you can build around. I still got more players to talk about. I still got more players on this defense to talk about. Let me get to your comments, though. I appreciate y'all for locking in for as long as you guys have. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button, though. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That like button is food. That like button is currency in this YouTube space. We got well over 100 people in here. We only got 60 likes. I need you guys to smash that like button. Do me a favor. Get active. Get active. Let's get to the super chat here. My man Green Wingman with the dub. Thank you, Greeny. I appreciate it. Greeny says, I feel that Howie Roseman is leaning more into that Georgia connection in order to keep Jalen Carter focused. He's already being compared to Aaron Donald and has the potential to be a Hall of Famer. Having familiar players keep him grounded. Interesting. That's interesting. And I'm glad you say that. I'm glad you said it because one of the guys I'm going to mention, in my opinion, is crucial. It's paramount to Jalen Carter's success. Now, look, Jalen Carter, at the end of the day, he is a professional. So, and he does take his skill set seriously. He does take his conditioning, take his preparation seriously, right? But like you said, it doesn't hurt having your guys around you to keep you grounded. And also, he's in an organization that tends to hold players accountable. But to your point, though, our veterans our OGs from years past have faded away. BG retired. Fletcher Cox retired. Darius Slay on another team. So all your OGs on this team are no longer here. I think your oldest starter is Zack Baun at 28. Now, obviously, you brought in Adoree Jackson. He'll be 30 when the season starts, but he just got here. He doesn't really have any stock yet. But Zack Baun is a player who's 28 years old. He's proven that he can lead this defense. He's proven he can play at a high level. First team All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year finalist, and Super Bowl champion, right? Earned his keep every step of the way. I think Zack Baun is somebody that's extremely respected in this building, extremely respected on that defense. But as far as the D-line goes, you know, your OGs that's been putting it in for 10 plus years, they're not here anymore. So although the Eagles have the infrastructure to handle a guy like Jalen Carter, they have the coaching staff to keep a guy like him honest. It doesn't hurt having, like you said, having his boys around. And I think one guy that he really respects, one guy he really looks up to more than anybody is Nolan Smith, because they play next to each other. And I think Howie Roseman, I think Vic Fangio, they see how lethal that combination can be when they're playing next to each other, when they're both healthy, playing at an extremely high level, and how they both hold each other accountable. I think Nolan Smith is a player that the Philadelphia Eagles really look at as a future leader of this team. And Nolan Smith is another player that I'm going to talk about as being a part of this core, who's considered, in my opinion, a star on defense, who's began to solidify himself on this roster, on this defense side of the ball. Nolan Smith, 24 years old. Jalen Carter's 23. Zack Baun, 28. But Nolan, 24, he's Jalen Carter's big bro. You feel what I'm saying? And you saw that in the playoffs where Jalen Carter was able to sack. He was able to sack Matthew Stafford. And after sacking him, they went to the sideline. He said to Nolan, "Thank you for trusting me in that situation, Nolan. Thank you for trusting me." And Nolan told him, "Don't you ever say no bullshit like that to me ever again. Of course I trust you. You see that shit, you call it. You see that, let's call it." So there's a connection there. There's a trust there. But also you can see that Jalen Carter has a high reverence for Nolan Smith. He trusts Nolan Smith's football IQ. Nolan Smith is somebody that Jalen Carter looks up to. And, you know, I don't mean this in any negative way, but Jalen Carter looks at Nolan Smith as somebody who almost validates him a little bit. Like he wants He wants Nolan to look at him in a positive light. He doesn't want to let Nolan Smith down. Does that make sense to you guys? He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to let Nolan Smith down. I get that from Jalen Carter. That's the vibe I get from him. And to have the trust of Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, to have the trust of Nolan Smith is important to Jalen. It's important. That's what I see. And I think Howie understands that. He's going to do everything possible to keep those two guys together. Above all else, if it ain't Jordan Davis, if it ain't Nakobe Dean, he's going to make sure he keeps Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter together. Excuse me, you guys. Got a little cough. So that brings me to my next guy, Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is a guy who had a breakout season. He's entering year 3 of his NFL career. And his first couple seasons, or his first season was a little bit herky-jerky because although he played in all 17 games, he was still nursing that shoulder injury. He was still adjusting to the speed of the game. He spoke about it on Cam Newton's podcast, 4th and 1, how his biggest hurdle, his biggest transition was, and thank you for the super chat, Green Wingman. His biggest transition, Nolan Smith, his biggest transition was adjusting to the speed of the game. But again, he was available for all 17 games in 2023. And in 2024, he played in every single game he was allowed to play in. Another guy who didn't play in the last game of the season, but 16 games played, 10 starts, especially when BG went down, stepped up as a starter. He had 2 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 6.5 sacks, 42 total tackles, 21 solo, 8 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits. He also had 15 pressures, 4 quarterback knockdowns, 4 hurries. You feel what I'm saying? So Nolan Smith really took a huge step in 2024. Also, his missed tackle percentage dropped significantly. In 2023, he had a 10% missed tackle percentage. He would miss tackles 10% of the time. That missed tackle percentage dropped to 2.3%. Nolan Smith's missed tackle percentage went from 10% to 2.3%. That's an astronomical difference. That means that when he got his hands on you, he was able to finish. Even more so. And then in the playoffs, Nolan took it to a whole nother level in the playoffs. Nolan in the playoffs, 4 games played, 4 starts, 1 forced fumble, 4 sacks, led the defense in sacks in the playoffs, 16 total tackles, 7 solo, 5 quarterback hits, 4 TFLs. On top of that, 11 pressures in the playoffs. 11 pressures, 5 hurries, 2 quarterback knockdowns. Nolan Smith was a man on a mission, and his snap count jumped astronomically. In 2023, Nolan Smith's snap count was 188, playing only 16% of the defensive snaps. That defensive coaching staff didn't know what to do with him. They couldn't develop him. They couldn't put him on the football field because they didn't know what to do. Vic Fangio comes in. He ups Nolan Smith's snap count to 546 total defensive snaps. 55% of the time he was on the football field, rotating with BG, Josh Sweat, Jalix Hunt. Was a dog. So Nolan, another guy the Eagles look at as somebody who's important to the long-term success of that defense. Nolan is another guy, another reason why I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic about this defense. I'm not. I refuse to. Zack Baun, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. There are defenses that wish they had that combination of players on their side of the ball. See, I think sometimes as Eagles fans, we are a little spoiled about what we see and about what we have here. The guys I'm about to name, I still haven't talked about Quinyon Mitchell. I still haven't talked about Cooper DeJean yet. That's 5 guys on your defense who are Pro Bowl, all-pro level talents. There's not many defenses in the NFL who have guys who have 3 of those kind of guys, or let alone 2 or 5. Like, yeah, we lost Josh Sweat. We lost Milton Williams. Okay. Teams lose guys every season. It happens, especially when you win a Super Bowl. It happens. But to act like you can sustain a roster of that caliber for an extended period of time, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous to believe that you can sustain that 2024 roster. You can't sustain it. You can't. Because eventually guys are going to need to get paid. And you're going to have to make tough decisions about who you want to give the money to. And you're going to have to start to evaluate and weigh value, cost, benefit, risk, reward, production, age, health. There's so many things that go into it. It wasn't possible to keep Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. It wasn't possible to keep those guys. But even then, we knew we were going to lose those guys. I think the only shocker was CJ. That was the shocker. I think that was the only thing that really threw us for a loop. But other than that, we expected to lose these guys. So it still blows my mind when people act a little funny money about the situation. It really does. Let me get to the super chat here. My girl, Fanny, the Eagles fan, with the $20 super chat. Thank you, Miss Fanny. I really do appreciate it. She says, did you see Nolan Smith's interview on 4th and 1 with Cam Newton? He said he sat his freshman year in college just so he could study the playbook. His football IQ is phenomenal. It's like he can read the offense before the play happens. Yeah, he's a very intuitive player, very instinctual, plays the position fast. He's added more pass rush moves to the repertoire. He's so quick off the line of scrimmage. He's gotten significantly stronger. You know, he may start the season depending on the recovery. I mean, he's not wearing the shoulder thing or the arm brace anymore. So depending on how long his recovery is with the I think it was a tricep or a shoulder, whatever it was. We'll see if he'll be ready for the season. He should be. He may start the season. Hopefully he doesn't start the season on the PUP list. Hopefully he doesn't start the season on the PUP list. But I also think Howie Roseman is preparing himself in the event Nolan may have to start the season on the PUP list, just to make sure he's fully healthy, just to make sure. You know what I mean? You don't want to force a guy back that's not fully right. We saw BG, he retore the tricep at the Super Bowl. So got to be careful about how we handle Nolan's injury, especially if we see him as a long-term answer at the position. But Nolan, he gave credit to Nick Sirianni, gave credit to Jalen Hurts, gave AJ Brown his flowers. Nolan Smith is a future leader on his defense. And I think that's why the Eagles will do everything possible to keep him in the building, because they see his impact. They see it. They see Nolan Smith as potentially their new BG. Jalen Carter is their new Fletcher, right? Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean will hold down the secondary. Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson are like your new Jason Kelce from a leadership and play perspective. Mailata is like your new Lane Johnson from a leadership perspective. Like they position they position themselves with some high quality, high character players who just happen to be all Pro Bowl level talents. Not easy to do that. Not easy to do that. Right? You can make an argument they've replaced Fletcher Cox, BG, Kelsey, and Lane. You could argue they replaced those guys with players who may have higher ceilings. You can make an argument for that. You can make an argument for that. Does Nolan Smith have potential to have a higher ceiling than BG? I say yes. Does Jalen Carter have potential to have a higher ceiling than Fletcher Cox? I say yes. Does Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson have potential to have higher ceilings than Jason Kelsey? Debatable. Debatable. I won't jump off the cliff, but debatable. Does Jordan Mailata have potential to be equal to Lane Johnson? I say yeah, it's possible. But look at the ground Mailata's been able to cover so far, and he hasn't played football for a long time. So it's just they've done a great job at replacing. They've done a great job at replacing or reloading their roster with talent and high character guys. It's really hard to find that marriage. It's very hard to find that marriage. Very hard to find that marriage. Thank you for the super chat, Fanny. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, Jalen Carter, Zack Baun, Nolan Smith. Let's get to Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, the two rookies that came in and played phenomenal as rookies, transformed that secondary, transformed it. Vic Fangio is not worried about this defense. Again, just those five guys I named, Jalen Carter, Zack Baun, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Nolan Smith. There's not many defenses in football that have five players at that caliber. There's not many. So when you think about it from that perspective, the Philadelphia Eagles defense is in better shape than you realize. The problem is we got fat off of what we saw last year thinking it was sustainable, and it wasn't. And we knew that from the beginning. It was never sustainable to have all those guys on that team. It's impossible. You can't pay all those guys. But when you got four of them who are on rookie deals, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Nolan Smith, all rookie deals, who are all Pro Bowl and all pro level talents. You know how difficult that is to have? Really just sit with yourself for a second. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jalen Carter, and Zack Baun are all Pro Bowl level talents. Potentially all pro level talents. And the Eagles drafted those guys. And they're all on rookie deals, either entering year 3 or year 2 of their careers. But I'm supposed to be worried. Nah, sorry. Can't be me. Can't be me, man. Can't be me at all. Now, obviously, you know that safety position, you lose CJGJ, and you try to figure out, okay, who's going to be that guy or play that position, right? Because, yeah, we know CJGJ, he brought a lot of fire. Right? But I could argue Nolan Smith brings equal amount of fire. I can argue Nakobe Dean plays with a similar fire. You know what I mean? Like, CJ just talks a lot of shit. So you see it. He talks a lot of trash. So it looks different. But I'm not going to sit here and say the Eagles are without a leader on the defense side of the ball. I feel like that defense had a lot of leaders, including CJGJ. I'm not going to sit here and pretend CJ didn't bring something to the position that we needed. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to devalue CJ to prove my point. I won't do that. CJ was extremely valuable to this team, and I was upset when we lost him. But you move on. You move on, and you think about who they do have in the building, who does play the game at a high level, who are leaders on this team, who are leaders on that defensive side of the ball. I look at Nakobe, Zack Baun, Nolan Smith, Reed Blankenship. I think those are your bona fide leaders on the defensive side of the ball. Bona fide. Zack Baun, Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Reed Blankenship, without a doubt. I think that's high-quality leadership. Leadership looks different. It materializes in different ways. But I'm not going to sit here and act like because CJ is gone, we're devoid of a leader now. Nolan Smith is a Super Bowl champion, entering year 3 of his career, had a hell of a breakout season, had a hell of a playoff run. Now the talent matches the personality. Now the production matches the leadership. And now when people speak, or when he speaks, they're going to listen. Nakobe Dean, same thing. The production matches the leadership now. Zack Baun, the production matches the leadership now. Reed Blankenship, the production matches now. Because most of the time, guys don't listen when you're not productive or when you always hurt. They're not going to listen to you. CJ, they didn't just listen because he talked a lot or because he had a lot of personality. They listened because he also was productive. So, yeah, CJ, phenomenal player. Sucks that we lost him. But I'm not going to sit here and act like this Eagles defense is devoid of leadership. They're devoid of heart. This defense still has it. They still have it. Still has confidence. Quinyon and DeJean plays the positions with high-level confidence. High-level confidence. I mean, let's just get into their production. Because Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean, they didn't register any interceptions in the regular season, but when that playoff started, oh yeah, they turned up for show. They turned up for show. But Quinyon Mitchell, healthy all year, played in 16 games, 12 pass deflections, 46 total tackles, 37 solo. Came in second for Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. Super Bowl champion. Was able to lock up your favorite wide receivers time in and time out. During the regular season as well. When targeted, held quarterbacks to a 54.7 completion percentage. When targeted, only allowed a 54% completion percentage with an 87.2 passer rating. And only gave up 74 yards after the catch for the entire season. For the entire season, only gave up 74 yards after the catch. Put that in perspective. Put that in perspective for a second. 74 yards after the catch, he only gave up over the course of 16 games. What's your thoughts on that for Quinyon Mitchell? What's your thoughts on that? For a rookie to play 16 games, only allow a 54.7 completion percentage with the 87.2 passer rating, 472 total receiving yards, and only allowed 74 yards after the catch. That brother knows how to tackle. And he's a willing tackler. And you don't get past him but so much. You don't get past him. He covers ground well. He defends his area well. You may get those little nickel and dimes, 3 yards there, 8 yards there, 4 yards there. Nah, you ain't beating him. You ain't beating him. And you ain't nothing coming easy to you. Nothing coming easy for you. That boy knows how to tackle. played in 955 defensive snaps, 96% of the snaps in the regular season. Ran a 4.3 at the combine, fast. Bench press, 20 reps, strong. Let me get to the playoff numbers. And he talk his shit. He a Super Bowl champion now. Defensive Rookie of the Year runner-up. What he did in the playoffs, the receivers he matched up against throughout the regular season and the playoffs, they created a monster. They created a monster. They created a monster. Quinyon played in all 4 games in the playoffs, 2 interceptions, 4 pass deflections. Come on, man. When targeted in the playoffs, only allowed a 50% completion percentage. He was targeted 20 times. Only allowed the quarterback to complete 50% of the passes. Only allowed 54 yards in the playoffs. Only allowed 54 total yards in the playoffs over 4 games. Quinyon Mitchell, the rookie, 2 interceptions, a 50% completion percentage allowed, only allowed 54 yards in the playoffs, only allowed 29 yak yards, only allowed 2.7 yards per target, 5.4 yards per completion. Phenomenal. He was elite in the playoffs. He was elite. Let's get to Cooper DeJean, man. Because I'm just trying to tell y'all why y'all shouldn't be worried. I'm just trying to give y'all confidence. That's all I'm trying to do. We didn't even get to the draft yet. We still got a month until draft night. I'm just trying to give y'all confidence. I hope it's working. Let me get the Cooper DeJean, man. Let me get the Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, 16 games played, 9 starts, baby. No interceptions in the regular season, but 6 pass deflections, a forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries, a half a sack, 51 total tackles, 38 solo, 3 TFLs, 1 quarterback hit. Was a Defensive Rookie of the Year finalist, came in 4th for the regular season. On the regular season, he was targeted 68 times. Allowed a completion percentage of 66%. But peep game, though. Peep game on this. He was targeted more. He did give up 66% completion percentage, but only allowed 374 total yards. He only allowed 5.5 yards per target and 8.3 yards per completion, with an 80.1 passer rating allowed. An 80.1 passer rating allowed. Dog. That brother was playing on his mind. And he was phenomenal in run defense. Tackling in the open field, running solid on the sideline, not getting lost in the trash when receivers and tight ends with motion or running backs with motion, doing a lot of the dirty work. Let's get to the playoffs. Man. Cooper DeJean, 4 games played, 1 interceptions, which was a pick 6, came at the perfect time, baby. a pick six on Patrick Mahomes, 4 pass deflections, a fumble recovery, 18 total tackles, 12 solo. Was targeted 18 times, allowed a 61.1 completion percentage, only allowed 135 yards over the course of 4 games, only allowed a 61.1 passer rating. When you targeted him, it wasn't going to be easy for you. It wasn't going to be easy for you. So again, all I'm trying to say is, when I look at this defense and I think about the core guys, Jalen Carter, Zack, Baun, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Nolan Smith, when I think about just those 5 guys, just those 5, because I'm confident in Reed Blankenship, by the way. I'm confident in Jordan Davis taking the next step. I'm confident in Jalen Carter taking the next step. I'm confident that Kobe Dean is going to play well when he gets back. I'm confident in that. I'm confident Jeremiah Trotter Jr. takes the next step. I'm confident in that. I'm confident Moro Ojomo takes the next step. Thomas Booker IV, I'm confident him and Byron Young take the next step because of the coaching staff, because of Clint Hurt, because of Jeremiah Washburn, because of Bobby King coaching the linebackers, because of Christian Parker, Roy Anderson, and Joe Casper coaching the DBs, corners, and safeties. I'm confident in Vic Fangio's staff. I'm confident in Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. I'm confident in these guys' ability to develop these guys. But again, I'm only focusing on the core. I'm only focusing on the core. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Zack Baun. I'm focusing on your top 5 players on defense. Man. I think this defense is in better shape than people want to give it credit for. And I know a lot of you guys don't like to give Reed Blankenship his flowers. A lot of you guys don't like to give Reed Blankenship the respect he deserves. A lot of you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I get it. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying, oh, he gets beat deep or whatever. He gets beat deep. Listen, we know Reed Blankenship, he isn't the most athletically gifted guy out of all those guys on that defense. We know that. But his football IQ, chef's kiss. How well he plays in run defense, how well he tackles, how he has a nose for the football. Yeah, we don't talk about that part, though. We don't talk about that. We hardly see Reed Blankenship out of place. Hardly. But I'm gonna give him his flowers. Reed Blankenship has only gotten more productive the longer he's been in the league. Rookie year, 1 interception in 2022. 2023, 3 interceptions. 2024, 4 interceptions. Was healthy all year long for the most part. 15 games played. In 2024, Reed Blankenship, 4 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 78 total tackles, 52 solo. Reed Blankenship doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He doesn't. In the regular season, Reed Blankenship targeted 40 times. Only allowed 336 yards over the course of a season. Only gave up 2 touchdowns on the season. People keep saying he get beat. He gave up 2 touchdowns over the course of a season. Like Reed Blankenship deserves more respect than he gets. We ain't talking about contracts. We ain't talking about money right now. We talking about the player. And 9 times out of 10, Reed won't be that expensive. But we'll see. We'll see. But Reed Blankenship allowed a 72.5 passer rating when targeted. That's really good. Only gave up 2 touchdowns. Really good. Only gave up 120 yak yards and 216 air yards. Over the course of a season. Reed is not getting $10 million a year, dog. With all due respect, Lance Elliott, he's not. With all due respect, Lance, and I'm not really here to talk about contracts, but he's not getting $10 million a year, bro. He's not. He's not. I love him, but he's not getting that. That's now you're over evaluating him. You're overvaluing him now. Like, he's not getting $10 million a year. He won't get that. I'll be here, Lance. Don't worry, I'll be here. I'll be here. I'll be here, brother. I'll definitely be here. I could definitely see Reed Blankenship probably getting between 7 and 9 million, maybe. Maybe. I could definitely see him getting between 7 to 9 million. He ain't getting 10 to 12, bro. Anyway, though. Bottom line is, you guys, I don't like it when you guys are nervous. I don't like it. You know? I don't like when you guys are a little shaky at the wheel. You know what I mean? It's unbecoming. Because when you look at this defense and you think about the talent that's on it, you say to yourself, wait, damn, we actually, I can't think of too many teams that got what we got already. This team's trying to get to where we at right now. There's teams trying to get to where we are right now, defensively. I can't think of too many teams that has this combination of talent on all 3 levels. I can't. I really can't. I really, really can't. Can you name 2 teams? I mean, can you name any team that has the combination of Jalen Carter, Zack, Baun, Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell? Just saying. Just saying. Not many teams got that combination of youth, talent on those kind of contracts. Not too many. Not too many. And I just want you guys to be more confident in what this team has done, what Howie Roseman has been able to do. And I think Howie Roseman has positioned himself pretty well for the upcoming draft. I think he's made some interesting moves in free agency that could pay off. I think the best signing he's had throughout this free agency has been Azeez Ojulari. That move, Azeez Ojulari, that move deserves more respect. Because if Azeez Ojulari can stay healthy, 6'3", 240, great size at the position. If Azeez Ojulari can stay healthy, and this Eagles coaching staff or this Eagles athletic training staff, the Eagles medical staff, they have been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal. Did you know the Eagles medical staff was able to keep 21 of 22 starters healthy for the season up into the Super Bowl? They were able to keep 21 of 22 starters. They were able to have 21 of 22 starters healthy for that Super Bowl. Did you guys know the Eagles only had 5 players on IR the entire season? 5 players. 5 players on IR. This Eagles medical staff is top tier. This Eagles athletic training staff is top tier. They keep guys healthy. They make sure guys recover. Strength and conditioning is top tier. Nutrition is top tier. You got to give credit. You got to give credit to the chefs, the team chefs, the cooks. Got to give credit to the strength and conditioning staff. Got to give credit to the medical staff. Top tier. To have guys ready to play, even if guys are playing hurt, they're well enough. They're recovering enough to where they can still be effective. Everybody's playing hurt on some level. But the fact that you were able to get 21 of your 22 starters in the Super Bowl is phenomenal. Phenomenal. So Azeez Ojulari, like Saquon Barkley, enters a hell of a situation. Remember, Saquon Barkley dealt with a lot of stuff with the Giants organization. Ankle, knee, wrist, whatever it was. Saquon Barkley was available for every game this year. Every game. Now, did he have his nicks and bruises, at any point? Sure. But Saquon Barkley was a factor, was effective, was available for every single game this year after coming off of many years of injury-riddled seasons with the Giants. Azeez Ojulari, many years of being injury-riddled with the Giants. But regardless of the injuries, Azeez Ojulari has been effective. He's been very productive in the limited time he's been on the football field. 2024, 11 games played, 6 sacks, 7 TFLs, 10 quarterback hits. 2023 had a down year, 11 games played, 2.5 sacks, but had 3 TFLs, 7 quarterback hits. But 2022, 7 games played, 5.5 sacks. 2021, 17 games played, 8 sacks. Oh, I think without question, Azeez Ojulari can get to the quarterback. I don't think that's a debate here. Is that fair to say? Can we all agree that Azeez Ojulari knows how to get to the quarterback? We can all agree to that, right? Yes, no, maybe. I think the only question is, can this brother stay healthy? And he's going to be a rotational edge for the Eagles. We can all agree Azeez Ojulari has proven he can get to the quarterback. Just got to stay healthy? Oh, yeah, I'm willing to bet on that. I'm willing to bet on that. I'm definitely willing to bet on that. So, nonetheless, I think it's going to be it's going to continue to be a fun offseason. I can't wait until the draft. I can't wait to see who we pick up, who we add to this roster. It's going to be really exciting to see. And I appreciate you guys for locking in on the content for as long as you guys have. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It means a lot to me, goes a long way. I really do appreciate the love and the support. We're going to get out of here. Once again, make sure you guys continue to stay active on the YouTube channel. We're always posting clips. We're always posting shorts. We're live about 4 to 5 days out of the week. You feel what I'm saying? So you guys are getting content damn near every day from me, man. We do the Link Up Show every week. Myself, Simone Stanley, Lord Brunson. You guys are getting content from your boy 7 days out of the week. I do my weekly off-season show with my boy, Marcus Thomas, Coach Marcus from Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys go lock in with him. You feel what I'm saying? You guys are getting content from me every damn day. If it be it live, shorts, clips. You feel what I'm saying? My girl Fanny, she says, "Do you think Jalen Hunt could be the next Trent Cole in the making?" See, I see this. I see sort of the same style as Cole and Hunt. Interesting. I like Jalen Hunt's measurables, the size, the speed, the athleticism, the power, the violence with his hands. He still has some growth to do. I think this is going to be a real big year for him. But I like that comp though. I like that comp, Trent Cole. Trent Cole is one of my favorite Eagles. I'm a big Trent Cole guy. So if he can have a Trent Cole like career, I think that's a success. That's a win. Thank you for the super chats, Fanny. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, again, you know, I think the Eagles are in a good spot. They are. And again, you guys are getting content from your guy damn near every day of the week. Live streams, videos, shorts. We're doing a lot on Twitter. We're doing a lot on Instagram. You feel what I'm saying? We're posting reels. We're giving you guys some dope content on Instagram as well. So make sure you guys lock in on Twitter, lock in on Instagram, subscribe, smash that like button, by the way, before you guys get out of here, before we cut ties for the day. Make sure you guys smash that like button. On top of that, I got some pretty good things lined up for you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, I got some guests lined up. Hopefully, everything works out the way I expect. But tomorrow is going to be a really, really fun day for the channel. A really, really productive day for the channel. So you guys don't want to miss the content that's coming tomorrow. I promise you, you guys are really going to be excited for it. You guys are going to really enjoy it. I really can't wait. So there you have it, you guys. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.